Yo, what's going on? Yes, you did read that right. Yes, you can make $1,200 in a day building these cold plunges. Is it easy? No. Will you be able to do it the first time you do it? I mean, I highly doubt it. Took me a while before I managed to build one in a day, but you can do them in a day. Like, I have built one of these in a day, and once you get to know how to do it, it really isn't that hard. I mean, it's a good day at work, but it's nothing, you know, it's nothing crazy. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of a price breakdown, how much it costs, the profit, how long it takes, how many I've sold, and how easy it is to sell them. I started building these about 2 years ago now, probably. The first year that I started building them, I built one for myself, and then I uploaded it onto Facebook. Next day it sold, and then that year I probably sold around 20 of them, and over doing those 20 I just sort of progressed, changed the design a little bit, managed to tweak a few things to speed up the process, and then it probably took me till I got to like the 15th one maybe. I could build one of these in a day. There are definitely certain tools that will help you along the way. The first one that I built, it was probably, the first one that I built, I built most of it with just basic tools. I think I did have my miter saw. If you're getting rough cut cedar, you will want a surface planer, but like, you can do a lot of it with a skill saw. I don't think I had a table saw at the time. I think I'd sold my previous one and I hadn't bought a new one. But anyways, I'll just sort of break down like how much it costs to build them and then how much you can make off of them. So these are the flyers that I made that I do pass out to sort of like gyms and stuff. So my 4-foot cold plunge without a chiller goes for $17.50. The 4-foot with a half horsepower chiller goes for $2,750. The 6-foot without a chiller goes for $2,250, and then the 6-foot with a half horsepower chiller goes for $3,250. You have to be a little bit careful when it comes to the 6-foot plunges, putting half horsepower chillers in them. I'm down here in Florida, and a 6-foot plunge outdoors in this heat with a half horsepower chiller, I mean, it'll get it down. It'll take it a long time to get it down. But I mean, if you're sitting it in the sun, obviously that's going to make a big difference. But you know, you got to bear in mind, it's only really hot for sort of 3 months of the year. Is it going to be sort of, it's going to struggle? I don't want to say it's going to struggle, but it will put some wear and tear on the chiller. So you might want to think about putting a full horsepower in there. I've done them with half horsepowers. A lot of people that bought these from me have actually bought them to put in like recovery centers and gyms. So a lot of them are like indoors or they're outside of the sun, so they don't struggle as bad. Every single one that I've sold, touch wood, I haven't had anyone contact me saying that it doesn't chill. I had one. I've sold probably 20-25 of them now, and out of those 20-25, I've had one guy that contacted me and said his chiller wasn't chilling past 50 degrees. So I just contacted the guy that I get the chillers from. He's up in Atlanta, and he just sent me a new chiller. They come with 1-year warranty, so he just sent me a new chiller. I've actually got the old chiller, which I'm going to put in this one. I'm going to try and fix it. This is for a friend, this cold plunge, so I'm going to try and put that chiller in here and see if I can't fix it. But that's what they go for. And then obviously when you build one, the first one like that you build, it's going to cost you a lot more, because you'll have to buy like all the screws, all the ply, all the fittings and fixtures and everything. And a lot of those fittings and fixtures that you get, you can like the 90s that I get, you can buy them in bulk. And the screws, you buy the screws in bulk. Like things like that, which you can buy in bulk, you can save money so that you'll have leftover for the next one. So your first one's going to cost you a lot more, but you'll have material left over, like your insulation and stuff. You won't use all of the insulation, so you can then use that insulation to cut your cost on the next one. So with that, bearing that in mind, it's hard to get like an actual figure of exactly how much it costs. I could give you an exact figure of how much it costs to build one right off the bat, but once you start producing more of them, that cost slowly comes down. But if I give you like a rough cost of like how much it costs me to build one, knowing that I've got certain materials around the shop that I can use left over from old projects, off of the 4-foot without a chiller you can make roughly $1,000. Off of the 4-foot with a chiller you can make roughly $1,500. The 6-foot without a chiller, $1,200, and then the 6-foot with a chiller, $1,700. Now the 4-foot without a chiller and the 6-foot without a chiller are the only ones that you probably get done in a day. And also you have to bear in mind that picking up material is a little bit of a hassle. So, you know, although it can take you a day to build one, I could definitely build one in a day with picking the material up. It would be a big day, but you probably want to spread it over, you know, if you pick the materials up in an evening, you know, a couple of evenings, just say to yourself, oh, I'm just going to swing by Home Depot, go grab these materials, go to the lumberyard, get the cedar, go to Tractor Supply, source the tub, do that over a couple of evenings, you know, and then be prepped and ready. The material sat in the shop for a while, so it's dried out nicely, and then you set yourself a day, and boom, you can get one done. The best, like once you start getting into the 6-footers, that's where you can make, like I've done a 6-footer in a day, and so I've made 1,200 that day. But once you start putting the chillers in them, you got to get the pump, the chiller, and start. That it is a little bit time consuming. It doesn't take crazy amount of time, but like once you know how to do it and you've got yourself a little method. The reason that I don't have like, there's a video on my YouTube where I show the build of one of these, and you can buy the plan on my Etsy store. But the reason that I'd never put a chiller and a pump sort of layout in there is because there's so many different chillers and pumps that you can use, and different systems and different ways to do it, that I just sort of left it out. And I just left it so that it's blanked off with 2 shut-offs, and then you can hook up your 3/4 inch whichever way you want to do it. But those are the figures that you can make. The 6-foot without a chiller is your best money maker. That you can do in a day. I've done one of those. But other than that, I mean, when it comes to tools, what's going to speed you up is obviously your surface planer, because you save money buying your rough cut cedar, table saw, so you haven't got to rip it down with a skill saw. And then a brad nailer. Just make sure when you're using a brad nailer that you do use stainless steel brad nails. But like doing these top sections, when you have a brad nailer, you can just place them where you want them, and then just run along, brad nail them all in place where you want them to sit, and then run along and just screw it all down, and it speeds the process up massively. This one's a little bit different. I've never used this material on the side here. The guy wanted like a plastic sort of finish, and I got this material. I'm not sure I really like it too much. I mean, it absolutely destroyed my router bit, routing out these slots in here with all the, I don't know what's in it, bits of metal, or I don't even know what's in there. But I'm curious to see how well this stuff holds up. I'd like to put it out in the weather and see what it does out in the weather. That is the other thing, is these are rated, like you can put them outside, but depending, the cedar's obviously fine, and then you put waterproof protection on the top, but the side paneling is where you'll run into issues with weather over the years. But you have to just make sure that you're putting the right protection on them, and there's different materials you can use. You can use all sorts of different materials. Just see what's out there and see what you want to use and see what's cost effective, I guess. But other than that, that's pretty much all the tools that you'll need. You can obviously offer delivery with them. I don't like doing delivery with them because it is really time consuming, and a lot of the times that people are coming to buy these is they want to save money. So as soon as you start doing deliveries, then to deliver one, it's like, you know, you gotta start charging sort of a couple $100 really, and people are already trying to save money. Like, that's why they're looking on Facebook to buy these. They don't want to go to you know, one of these big retailers, so they look on Facebook to see if they can find a deal, and then they come across these, and so they're trying to save themselves money already. So you have got to be a little bit careful. When I do these, when I first started doing them, I wasn't taking deposits, and I did have a couple of people that they wanted one. I bought the material, built it, and then they pulled out. So I did start doing like a $500 deposit on them, just because I did have too many people messing me around. They have died off a little bit recently. I mean, this year I haven't pushed them as much as I did last year because I've been doing other stuff. But I did put the ad up a couple months ago, but I was running around. I took on a part-time job, but I actually stopped that now, so I'm back in the shop full-time. And over those 2 months I got a few messages, but it's hard to sort of sift through the people that are serious about buying one, and then the people that are just sort of, you know, asking you questions, and they're really not sort of looking at buying one. So you got to be careful who you're dealing with. I remember when I first uploaded these, I got hundreds of messages from people, so it is quite time consuming just sort of going through all the messages, finding out who's serious. And then you'll get people message you sort of being like, well, will you take $1,000? It's like, and you can clearly read the ad, you know. It takes 2 seconds to scroll down and read the ad. Just take the time, go read the ad, and then you're not going to waste my time, you're not going to waste your time. But anyways, that's a little cost breakdown for you, how much money you can make, how much it costs to build them. I source my chillers from Atlanta. I get them for, I think it's been a while since I bought one, but I think the half horsepowers I get for like $450. They come with a year warranty, and then I just get the pumps from Amazon, just the Intex pool pump that comes with a filter. They all seem to be good. I've never had any issues with those. Like I say, I only had that one issue with that one chiller, and that guy sent me the chiller, you know, within a week, 2 weeks. He tried sending me a part to fix it, but I never got it, so he ended up just shipping me another chiller out. So he seems to be good. I get those for like $450. The pumps you get for like 60-70 bucks, I think. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, I think. I don't think there's anything else to go through. I've given you all the costs. If you want to, I'll put the link for the full build video in the description below. I'll also put the link to my Etsy store where you can go and buy the plans, and it breaks down everything for you, all the measurements, all the materials that you need, all the tools you need. You can get that on my Etsy store. It's $20. And yeah, I'll chuck it all down there so you can go and find it all. But that's pretty much it. Gives you a complete breakdown of how much I make doing them. And like I say, you don't need crazy tools to do it. You really don't. The surface plane is about the only big tool that you really need. Everything else is just sort of your skill saws, your jigsaws, drills, stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, I got another project coming out soon. We'll try and get that out next week. Just something simple. See if we can start getting Facebook up and running again. I'm going to start sort of really trying to push Facebook and see if we can start making some money on Facebook again. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, if you want to go and watch that full build video, it's in the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.